No, it
'Cause I
seems
have
better.
No.
okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest set for one fall is for the WWE Championship.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Stand up for too long.
Welcome to Around the Turnbuckle. I'm Big Al. That guy right there is the professor, as always. And joining us deep from Alabama is the one and only Lawless James Barrett. What's up, man?
What's going on, you guys? Glad to be here. Glad to be a part of this podcast.
Glad to have you.
Great things about it.
How are things down in Alabama today?
A little chilly, you know. Just a little chilly, getting that winter air coming in, but other than that, pretty good, man. Pretty good. Living the dream.
You know, we know a guy down there by the name of the Thundercat, Greg Winters. You know him?
Oh, yeah.
Greg Cable.
Yeah, I know Thundercat. Yeah.
You know him?
Yeah, I know.
We lured him up here in the Yankee country once.
I know Thundercat real well. I can't say I know the other guy that y'all mentioned, but I do know Thundercat. And I've worked him in a tag match before, but I've never got him one-on-one. So, you know, maybe that's down the road in the future.
All right, man. Well, welcome to Around the Turnbuckle. We're glad to meet you, of course. And the first thing we ask is, why do you do this, man? Because everybody loves professional wrestling, but you guys that go in the ring and put your body on the line really love it. So where did that start for you? Like, tell us how that all began for you.
Well, my love for professional wrestling started when I was 5 years old. I saw The Undertaker and Kane in a Buried Alive match, and that just made me want to do it. Had no idea that independent wrestling was a thing until I was about 20. Gave a buddy of mine, another Alabama wrestler, Priest Saturn, gave him a ride to an event in Chelsea, and you know, ever since then it's been nothing but up. You know, just living the dream and, you know, going to places that I want to go to, different states, and wrestling dream matches, you know, so far.
When did you get your start? Like, how old were you? Where did you seek training?
I was 20 years old when I first started. Got my first bit of training by Extreme Heat. He helped me a little bit, helped me get started and all that. Then I started getting training by Joe Hogan. I wrestled for only one promotion for like 6 years because I couldn't branch out. I couldn't find my identity, couldn't branch out, and you know. But last year it really has started picking up. End of 2023. But I went through gimmicks. I don't know how many times till I found the Lawless one in the 8 years that I've been doing it. So
I think that's something people don't understand is some guys will immediately click and know what they need to do. And then there are folks like yourself that it's like a minute to kind of figure everything out and put it together. And I think that more than anything is what's great about having the independence or even doing what you did, where you kind of stay in one place and go, no, I only get one chance to make a first impression, so let me make sure I know who I am when I step out to do that.
Exactly, and that's one of the, to me anyway, that was one of the hardest things to do in this business, um, is to find that identity that you feel comfortable with, going places and showing off. But like I said, end of last year, 2023, I found it, and it's been, you know, nothing but up since
Professor,
then.
you have an echo on your end. If I don't know if you could fix that at all.
Let me see if I can. I know I've got the little guy in the background. That might also be what you're hearing.
So tell us about Lawless James Barrett, man. Who is he? And like what part of him did he come from you?
Uh, Lawless James Barrett is kind of, it's kind of me, but it's more turned up to 11 per se. Um, I'm not super cocky in real life. I can be when I'm like playing video games with friends or something like that, doing something competitive with people that I'm close to. But when I'm in the ring, I'm the best. You can't tell me otherwise. I'll beat anybody any given day. Um, I take a little bit from the greats that I've grown up watching. I
Like
do
who?
the cutter like Randy Orton. Um, I do the Pele kick like AJ Styles. I do the sweet music like Shawn Michaels. I mean, I'm trying to, find my move set to mix with the character. You know what I'm saying? To mix with that persona and to make it gel right. I think I found it, but I'm putting the final tweaks on it. And, Lawless
And
James Barrett could be the next biggest thing you see,
I hope so, but I'm going to take a wild guess here, Professor, and say that the fact that he's lawless means he's a heel. Am I wrong?
Uh, I'm a heel in a few places.
Okay.
Here lately, I've been getting a lot of cheers, and promoters have been wanting to push me face and stuff. So I've still been the cocky one, but now instead of being cocky and arrogant and have an attitude, I'm cocky,
Yeah.
arrogant, but I love the fans, and I know that they love me
Right.
because I'm the greatest. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Kind of a
a
Steve
whole,
Austin thing.
yeah, kind of like a Steve Austin, LA
Right. You
Knight,
don't
Seth
change
Rollins
what
type.
right. You don't change what you're doing, you change who you're doing it to.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I don't change a thing
Yeah,
about
I'm
my
still
character.
echoing here. Let me try coming back in. That might work.
All right.
Okay.
He's going to drop out
Okay.
and he's going to come back in. There was an echo
That's-
coming from his end. I don't know. It's a
I
little
feel
bit
that.
on my end, too.
Yeah, I understand. But yeah,
It
I
might
don't
be you.
change.
Do you have us on speakerphone?
No, I'm just talking to y'all through a video chat.
Okay.
Don't think it's on
All right.
speakerphone.
Just make it. So you started when you were 20. You got training. Do you remember your first match? Like, was it the butterflies? Like, how did that go?
My very first match, I was in a battle royal. It was actually for someone who had just passed away. It was a memorial battle royal.
Oh, cool.
And I remember being so overwhelmed by adrenaline that the whole match I struggled keeping my stomach in check. It was so, my music hit and the fans started, cheering because they didn't know who I was. So they was just like, hey, let's just cheer for this new guy. And you know, it, it was a lot. It was a lot to process, that's for sure. And I can only imagine what it'll
And
feel
what
like.
music was that? Like, what music did you first come down to?
I came out to Slipknot Psychosocial.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. That was my first gimmick. It was Crossbones. It was a gimmick that the promoter I was working for at the time gave to me. It's not a character that I really liked, but the promoter wanted me to do it, and I was
Did he
paying my
literally just
dues.
say, "Dude, you're crossbones"? Like, how's that conversation go? All right,
I
kid,
he
your turn. Your crossbones. Go out there.
Yeah, he walked up to me and he was like, "I got this shirt with a skull on it, and I got a good name for somebody, and it's called Crossbones." He was like, "I want you to be Crossbones," and I'm like, Okay, I guess, you know." So I did it, and eventually they put me in a clown mask as Zaza the clown, and then I found Lawless James Barrett after I came out from under the mask, and it hasn't changed since. So
How you doing, Professor? You all right there?
I think so. I can hear you echoing. Am I still echoing?
We're all echoing now, and I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay.
I have echo. I have like echo.
Right, and that was my thing. I was looking at it and it said there's an echo cancellation on. So
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
It's annoying.
I'm not on speakerphone or nothing.
We have echo cancellation off. Everything's supposed. According to StreamYard, everything's working fine. But I mean, I apologize to the fans if you get an echo out there.
yeah.
If you guys are watching live, we apologize for that. But it's definitely an audio situation. All right, man. So who was your opponent? You talked. You had the battle royal, but who was your first one-on-one in front of a crowd?
First one-on-one in front of a crowd was actually the person I gave a ride to, one of my best friends in the business, Priest Saturn. They wanted me to, see what I, could do, and he had wrestled a couple shows for the promoter beforehand. So, yeah, it was me and him, and we knew exactly what we was gonna do, and it was still a nerve-wracking match because of the adrenaline. I hadn't gotten used to it yet, but it was a great match. I had fun with it.
Did you wrestle mostly locally, or have you spread out a little bit further than Alabama?
Um, at the start of my career, like I said, it was only for the one promotion, and we'd wrestle every 3 months. And towards the end of that 6 years that I wrestled for that promotion, I was getting tired of it, and I was starting to lose my love for it for real because I wasn't going
Yeah.
nowhere. But then I started taking chances and putting myself out there, and being willing to, make the drives, like everybody told me I need to. So I was finally listening to that advice, and it took off. I had a show in Georgia, and then next thing you know, I'm wrestling in Georgia and Alabama, and then Arkansas came calling, so I'm in Arkansas, and then had to do the Tennessee State Fair, or the Delta Fair in Memphis. I'm sorry, and it's been a crazy ride. I'm just looking to expand some more.
Tell us about show-stopping championship wrestling.
Showstopping Championship Wrestling was where I was Zaza there for the first little bit, and then towards the end of my stint there, I became Lawless James Barrett, and I won the Southeastern Championship down there for them. But then that promotion, the promoter was going through some stuff, I guess, and it hadn't ran in a while. Or hadn't ran since. So, I kind of just been having to find other places, and luckily I found those. And Battle Zone Championship Wrestling in Blue Ridge, SWA in Cottondale, Alabama, and Newark, Arkansas, SEPW up in Russellville, Alabama, and I've just been busy. I've been steadily busy wrestling every weekend.
That's good. I mean, you're getting across the state. And Alabama's a decent sized state, if I'm remembering correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And now you said too, you're getting out into Arkansas too, so that's great. So far, I've mostly just been in Pennsylvania with the commentary.
Yeah. The Arkansas show is great. Crazy Luke Graham Jr. is the promoter up there.
Okay.
So,
That's a name I'm familiar with. I haven't met him, but I know the name.
yeah, he's very knowledgeable about the business, and he said he sees a lot of great things in me, and my buddy Saturn. So yeah, we've been dedicated to that one and dedicated to any place that treats us right. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of independent promotions out there that don't. Um,
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't been a part of many, but I haven't been back to those that I have been a part of. So
There you go. Yeah.
So tell me when you crossed paths with our friend Thundercat.
I crossed paths with Thundercat about 5 years ago at one of the promotions, one of the promoters' shows that I was running, the only one that I was running around that time. And he came down and he had a match. I can't remember who he wrestled, but it was a great match. And um, he watched my match that night, and he was like, "You got a lot of potential, kid." He was like, "You just keep it up, keep doing what you're doing." And I did. And then we reconnected last year, I think, or beginning of this year maybe, and wrestled in a tag team feud type deal between me and my faction member Cody Evans, and against him in Extreme Heat. So he said I have improved a lot since the last time he seen me. So it was a pretty good time. It's a pretty good time. It was great to reconnect with him and see him again, and we just kept talking about how that one-on-one match needs to happen.
He is Mr. Encouragement. He really is.
Yeah, he came up to visit me and Keith up here. Like, if you don't know, I'm in Pennsylvania. The professor's in New Jersey, and we work for two promotions in Pennsylvania. But we also are starting to spread our wings a little bit too in other places. And Greg's been a tremendous source of, I should say, inspiration, but also like advice. And he's been on, like, we've had over 300 episodes of this show, and he comes on all the time, and pops up like this and
Right
says,
there.
"Hell
I
yeah,
said his
guys,
name
I'm
too many
here."
times.
We said his name too many times, and so here he is.
There he is.
Yeah, he's like, "Hell yeah, guys, I'm here." And I love when he gives wrestlers advice on our show, because talking about a guy who's been doing it for like 18 years plus. I think he's getting closer to 20, because I think he was doing it for 18 years when we first met him, Keith. I don't know.
Might have been
Yeah,
around that.
He doesn't want to say how old he is, Mr. Barrett.
Oh,
You know
I
what
know
I mean?
how old
Yeah.
he is. He
Oh,
told
yeah,
me.
you know how old he is. So, like, what's been happening with you lately? Like, so what have you been involved with lately? Talk about what's happened with you locally.
Well, locally, I've had a lot of big stories happening up in SCPW for me. Me and Saturn were the tag team champions up there for about 7 months. Recently lost him we lost him 2 shows ago, and then he turned on me and turned me face, kept him heel, and just we've been doing that. We screwed each other over last show out of title matches, both of us, and so it's just going to be a grudge match up there. Battle Zone this weekend. I'm challenging for the light heavyweight title up there, against a former faction member of mine who slapped me the last show, Michael Garvin.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he's going to get what's coming to him, because how dare he bites the hand that feeds him? You know what I'm saying?
True story.
Mr. Thundercat's turning 40 in June, and he's been wrestling since 2005. So 2025 will be his 20th year, Professor.
We're both older than Thundercat, really?
Yeah, we're both older than Thundercat.
I figured you were, but
I'm ready for that one-on-one, Mr. Barrett. Right there.
Somebody book it. Somebody book it.
I'll book it. I'll even drive to Pennsylvania and New Jersey if he wants me to.
Well, he's in Alabama.
I know. But wherever he's going to be at, I'll come to him. That's what I'm saying.
He keeps threatening to come back.
Yeah. But anyway, so, like, what do you think of professional wrestling nowadays? Like, the state of professional wrestling as a whole? I'm interested. A lot of times, I'm interested to see how guys who are in the business trying to spread your wings. You'd love to get that contract. We could talk about that all day, but like, how do you feel about the state of pro wrestling, in 2024?
I think the state of pro wrestling is probably one of the best it's ever been. It's that it's, if not the highest, second highest peak that it's been. With the only era of wrestling being in like the Attitude Era style of wrestling,
Like during the Monday Night Wars.
yeah, during the Monday Night Wars. But this new era and what Triple H is doing for not only the professionals up there in WWE, but also for the independent guys, I think it's great, and I think that's one of the best things that's ever happened to WWE is him taking control of it and actually caring about the wrestlers as opposed to caring about how much money they'll make you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I
Professor, what
really
do you
look
think of that ID thing?
I
Yeah.
look at that, and what I hope that's going to be is I hope that's going to be what I've talked about for a while. Of I think WWE needs to nurture a minor league system outside of NXT, and I think they need to identify those quality independent promotions and those quality independent wrestlers, referees, managers, everybody that's on the independents busting it because like you just said, James, there's the quality people out there that you want to get involved with, you want to bust it for, you want to get involved and do that. And then there's the people where you're like, I ain't never coming back here because you figure out pretty quickly, they're not in it for the right reasons. They're not in it to grow the sport or grow anything that we're doing and nurture. And my hope is that this is going to be a benign check. That it's not going to be something where it's like, oh, WWE is going to go out there and basically approve the independents and create a system where you can't necessarily break in. But I'm hoping it's going to create a better quality, more of a bar where if you can't reach that bar, go away. But not that you're choking anybody off, but just that you're creating a bar and you have the opportunity to hit it. And if you don't have the ability to hit it, you're kind of naturally selected out. That's what I hope this is going to do.
Yeah, that's what I hope as well because you can go to some indie shows that you see or most of them, and the quality of work is poor. There's a couple of good wrestlers here and there, but nobody's really getting any attention on the indies because not a lot of promotions have the necessary setup to be able to film their stuff, to be able to stream it, to put it on social media or anything like that. So I mean, it's a really good thing that WWE up there is finally coming down and being like, hey, let's, like you said, heighten the bar of professional wrestling, not just on the professional WWE level, but on the independent professional scene as well. And that way the fans can have something to look forward to every time they go to a local indie show, as opposed to going and spending your money and being like, well, that sucked.
Right. And you potentially burn a town that way. I mean, because like you just said, a lot of fans either don't know that independent wrestling exists, they don't know that there's wrestling outside of what they see on television. So if you run a show, your show's terrible, they're just going to sit there and go, well, I guess I'm not touching anything but the TV stuff after this because those guys blew it for me.
Yeah, agreed. Because like people do know that the WWE exists because it's marketed so well on television. And it's always like catch Raw this Monday night or SmackDown this Friday night, and they constantly shove it down your face. And that's what I try and do every indie promotion that I'm on is promote, promote, promote. But everybody's got to be doing that for the show to be successful. It can't just be a few people here and a few people there doing it. It's got to be a team effort. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Thundercats here, he says, I've left a few places before just because they'd rather have people act like wrestlers rather than have real talent.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unfortunate problem.
That's exactly.
Hey,
That's
so
exactly.
did you mention Michael Garvin earlier?
I did.
So he then popped up on here and said, hey, Michael Garvin's here.
Oh, well, there he is. Yeah, that's my opponent this Saturday in Blue Ridge, Georgia.
All right. Well, he's watching. You got something to say to him? Go ahead.
Well, Michael, I've already told you in the group chat. I've already told you, buddy. This Saturday, that title that you got so proudly strapped around your waist, it ain't going to be yours no more, Bubba. Because it's coming home with the one that looks the best in gold. Lawless James Barrett. And that ain't a fact nor a promise, Michael. That's a lawless guarantee. And don't worry, guys, I'll make him famous in the process.
Damn. So where's that event? Where's that event at? That's this Saturday?
This Saturday in Blue Ridge, Georgia, 1580 Appalachian Highway.
All right. Michael Garvin versus Lawless James Barrett.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a
Hi.
slugfest.
Hi. How are you?
Welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. This is Lawless James Barrett. I'm the he's the professor. I'm Big Al. I'm confused. And this is Around the Turnbuckle. Do you still have aspirations to try to do this for a living?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every day I wake up, that affirmation.
And
is
so do you have a game plan? Like, what do you think to be, I don't want to say the easier path, but like, you know, but what do you see? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, as far as pro wrestling?
I see myself in one of two places. I either see myself wrestling full time in Japan, getting some time in over there, or I see myself on NXT.
In the next 5 years.
Yeah, in the next 5 years.
Okay. That'd be great. I mean, we've had people on here that have said that, and 5 years later it didn't happen. And we've also had people who said that and showed up on NXT. So I mean, we've had it both ways. It's exciting to follow. So whenever we have a guest on here, we keep track of you. So like 6 months from now, I want to talk to you again. A year from now, I want to talk to you again and see where you're at and see, do you still have that mentality? Or like, a lot of guys are excited and with good reason. Keith brought it up about the WWE ID program. And that whole thing has kind of opened a new door for guys, and so a lot of guys are excited, and but the thing is, like, what sets you aside from everybody else that also is chasing that same dream?
Well, what sets me aside from them is that most of the people that I've met that want to do this, they have, families, they have a wife, and they have kids to think about, so they can't really afford to risk it all for a dream. You know what I'm saying? I don't. So I'm willing to risk everything I got to get to the top of the ladder.
So you want to go all in?
I want to go all in. Yeah.
Nice.
All in. Everything I got, 150, 200% of my being. I just want to inspire people like the legends that I grew up watching inspired me, like Undertaker, Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, all of them.
You mentioned NXT. You mentioned Japan. How do you feel about AEW?
I'm all right with AEW. If they come knocking before WWE, I'm okay to go to AEW. But will I be a lifelong AEW member? Absolutely not. I don't think I can see myself being there for the rest of my career if I go.
How does Lawless James Barrett put an opponent away?
Lawless James Barrett can put his opponent away with a myriad of different things. I can cutter someone. I'm trying to figure out how to turn that into a corkscrew cutter, but I haven't really gotten that yet.
Tricky.
Um, I hit the stunner sometimes if I feel like it. If I'm a heel, I usually cheat. Grabbing the tights, foot on the ropes, you know.
I mean, you have to, right? You're not a heel if you're not cheating or trying to break the rules or get away with something.
Exactly. And that's all a part of the psychology of the business. You got to know what to do with what you have, you know. But really, I go out there and I do the cutter mainly, and because I love Randy Orton, so you know I like the cutter.
Now, I assume you go back and you watch, older stuff like older tape, be it on YouTube or the network or anything like that, to try to pick up like psychology moves, stuff like that. So when you're doing that, like who are you kind of going back and looking at beyond the guys you were talking about that influenced you? Are there some other people that you're looking at and kind of trying to pattern yourself after?
From back in the day, I'd honestly probably say, like I said, Stone Cold Steve Austin's kind of aggressiveness towards that, and his ability to work with the crowd, because Stone Cold was a good worker of the crowd. I watch Macho Man. I like Macho Man over Hulk Hogan. I've never really been a big fan of the, I'm a really good guy, goody two shoes guy. I haven't been any.
I root for the heels, Mr. Barrett.
Yeah, Razor Ramon.
And I think Savage had those kind of over the top promos too, but I felt like Savage could go over the top, but it was believable. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't get so far out there that you were like, this man's in La La Land and he's not talking about realistic things he can do to another human being. Like, he kind of brings it back to like, I am that good, I am going to hurt you. Like, he has his thesis, he has his theme, and he just exaggerates.
Yeah.
But he still stays with that theme of like, it's about when the bell rings, you're getting hurt, beating your ass, taking your belt if there's a belt involved, you're done because I'm the greatest.
Yep. And that's the mindset I have. I do what I got to do to win, and I'll be sure to look damn good doing it.
Yeah.
Man, if you haven't done so already, go back and watch, if you can find it. Maybe you can find it on YouTube. Just like a compilation of Randy Savage promos.
Oh yeah,
if you haven't already.
Yeah,
I've seen a good few.
He's good for promos. Jake Roberts for psychology and promos.
Yeah, that was another one I was going to bring up. Jake the Snake.
Yeah. Jake the Snake.
Arn Anderson.
Psychology.
All around good to watch.
Yeah, and also Ric Flair.
Oh yeah, Flair too. Yeah.
I also find it interesting. When you say like the guys that you grew up watching were The Undertaker, Kane, Randy Orton. I'm a little older than you. The guys I grew up watching were Hogan, Piper, Macho Man.
Piper.
So The Undertaker came later, but I'm saying I think it's important for your generation to go back and watch some old school Ric Flair WCW matches or some NWA stuff or World Class with the Von Erichs and the Freebirds and all that. I think it's important for you to do that too.
You can watch Lou Fez and Gorgeous George at this point, and for free. I saw something on Tubi once. There was a compilation of old stuff like that, and I was like, man, let me check it out as a curiosity. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, yes, it's definitely a little slower. It's not quite modern style, but it's like, there's still good work here. If you're a wrestling fan, if you're a wrestler, I still think you could pull things out of that and bring it in, because I always say, I think the guys that are going to get over and are going to make the most impact are the guys that are going to be able to go back and look at those older styles and that older way of doing things and trying to bring that back in and modernize it and make it work, because nobody is doing that. I feel like anywhere. Even older guys that I've worked with, older veterans that are working with, they're still not quite doing some of those things. So I feel like if the younger guys start bringing that in, and the first guys that bring it in are the guys that are going to get the most attention for doing it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, it's always important to go back and see what kind of wrestling came before you and see if you can somehow bring that into the wrestling of today. And to me, if it speaks of true innovation, if you can do that successfully and mix everything that you've learned into one style, and that way you'll be able to, lock up and be technical like back in the day, and just, holds and grapples and all that, or you can do the high flying if your opponent wants it. It's best to be an all around guy, in my opinion, at least in wrestling, because you know
And are you one of the guys that will pick brains of guys that have been doing this a while, like in the locker room?
oh yeah, yeah, I go up and ask everybody that's in there. If I haven't asked them already, I'll ask them, and if I have asked them already, sometimes I ask them again, because they may remember something that they didn't remember 15 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
uh, but it's yeah, it's important to pick the people that's been doing this a long time, longer than you's brain, to know what they went through, and to, kind of be able to see if that, will affect you, or, see how you can respond to that situation in the future based off their experiences. And I think it's great that, I tell people that I train all the time. I only train a couple people, but I tell them, and I'm like, look, anytime you're in a new locker room, you shake everybody's hand and you ask them how long they've been doing it and what they've been doing, and how the business is. No, the only stupid question is one that isn't asked.
Right.
Yep.
That is the only
So I caught
stupid
100%.
something.
question.
I caught something you just said there, man. You said you started training some people. Is that something that interests you too? Like on,
Uh,
additionally?
yeah, yeah. I tell people I go to these promotions like Battle Zone. I'm the head trainer up there at Battle Zone. I train people at SWA, but it's really guys that are, 18, 19, 20 years old, just getting into
Young
the
and
business
green.
like I
Yeah.
am, young and green. And I'm not the most knowledgeable guy in the world. I've only been doing this 8 going on 9 years. So I just teach them what I know and teach them what I've learned, and hopefully that's enough to get them to where they want to be, or at least on the right track of it. So
If
um,
you could go back and give your 20-year-old self advice, what would you tell yourself?
get away from that promotion and start branching out sooner.
Yeah.
I could have probably already been in NXT if it wasn't for that.
You live and learn, though, and you never stop learning either. I mean,
But the flip side
Never.
is too, like we talked about, you didn't know who you were for the longest time. So maybe if you had branched out before you knew who Lawless James Barrett was, that was the correct path, maybe you don't
Yeah,
get the opportunities you're getting now, because, like we said at the top, one chance to make a first impression.
exactly, exactly. And I've been kicking myself about that for all these years, but it is what it is, and everything happens in time, and I can't rush anything. If I would have rushed into it, and I could have failed, and then my dream could have been over with. But I feel like I did the right thing looking back. Hindsight being 2020 and all. I
Right.
feel like I did the right thing, staying in one place, finding myself, and then once I did find myself, that's when I go out and do my thing.
have you so far had a couple matches in the back of your mind, like 2 or 3 maybe, that you felt like that those were your best efforts out there, or maybe you had great chemistry with your opponent and you both went out there and killed it, and you're like, man, you go back in the locker room and you're like, holy hell, that was something.
Yeah, I've had that actually. about as much as I've had matches that I didn't like, to be honest.
Hmm?
Uh, for a few, for example, could be my first match with my mentor, Extreme Heat. We had a singles match, and we didn't call a thing in the back. We just went out there and we locked up and we just walked it and talked it. And
Hmm.
that's my favorite brand of wrestling is walking and talking. Uh, another one was a fatal four-way tag match for the SCPW tag titles. That was about 60 minutes long,
Wow.
and everybody in that match was amazing to work with. And then another one happened not too long ago at the Delta Fair and the Alabama State Fair. I wrestled Nathaniel Wild, and I'd be excited to cross paths with him again in the ring.
Was it just something about him, or was it something about that match in particular?
It was it was the chemistry we had. We had never worked together before, but he knew what he was doing. He knew what he wanted out of the match. I knew what I was doing, and I knew what I wanted out of the match. And we went out there and we delivered, you know, which was great. It was a great match.
Is there a list of wrestlers that you have not worked with that you realistically could see yourself doing that before you hang up the boots?
Realistically, I could see myself working Thundercat
Well, he
if he
wants
still
you.
wants. Apparently, he does. I'm desirable, I guess.
He's got to work on it. It has to happen. We talked about it
Oh
too
yeah,
much. It has to happen.
It has to. Thundercat's one of them,
We're willing it
definitely.
into existence.
Honestly, I'd be willing to challenge anyone that's in different parts of the states. I mean, it don't really matter who it is. I'm just I just want to lace up my boots all around the world and inspire people all around the world. You know what I'm saying? So I don't anybody that steps my way can get it. Dream opponents, like I said, Thundercat. Um, I wouldn't mind wrestling Braden Toon again. Uh, Went up there and wrestled him for New South one show. But yeah,
If
shoot.
you do get to the big show, like say NXT, is there anybody in the current roster, whether it be NXT or main roster, that you would like to wrestle to, other than Randy Orton?
NXT roster. Shoot, that's a good one. I wouldn't mind wrestling Javon Evans,
Yeah.
Nathan Frazier, Andre Chase from Chase U. He seems like he's a good wrestler. I like him.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind wrestling Ethan Page.
There you go.
I want Seth Rollins, JD McDonough, Dominic Mysterio.
Did you say
I wouldn't mind
Seth
working Dominic
Rollins?
Mysterio.
That's Rollins.
Yeah.
Glad you brought up
What
JD.
Yeah, Seth Rollins.
I sleep on JD McDonough, I think.
I love Seth Rollins. Like
And why is that?
Shield. Just his just that cockiness that he had when he broke away from the Shield and after the Authority thing, when he started
Right.
getting into his own kind of thing instead of being Triple H's student.
So the
of the game,
metamorphosis of him,
the
the
metamorphosis
Tyler
went
Black to the Shield to what he
to
is
Seth
now.
Rollins. Yeah, to Seth freaking Rollins, what he is now.
I tell you, he
I
was the
think-
guy I worried would do the worst out of the Shield breaking up. And I mean, other than Roman in the last 3 years or so,
I've been on the
he was
Seth
the guy
Rollins
who was
train
moving
from the
up.
jump, so he's always been my favorite Shield member. Everything,
Yeah, it was never a worry that he couldn't do it.
know.
My worry was
Wrestling style. I
he
like his
wouldn't get the
wrestling style. The
opportunity
curb
to do
stomp's
it.
vicious. He does the pedigree. He's a
You have a favorite match
mastermind
of
of the
his?
game.
You have a favorite match
So-
of his? You have a favorite match of Seth
Y'all hear me?
Rollins?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can barely hear y'all.
I
don't know what
you're
happened.
You're cutting in and out. I don't know.
I don't know either. Hold on.
Might have walked
I
in my
remember
bag.
Professor Seth Rollins cashing in the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. He was the first guy
Can
to
y'all
do
hear me
it.
now?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yep.
My phone's messing up. I can't really
know.
hear y'all. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
wherever you were, you could hear us, and then wherever you moved to, you couldn't. Professor, what you got on behind you there?
I think it's some Nickelodeon thing. We got the toddler here, so you can keep him amused
Awesome.
because I muted it.
Yeah, I think we're losing Mr. Barrett.
Seems
Are you
so.
on the Wi-Fi here?
Yeah,
You want me to run my hotspot?
I don't know what happened to him.
Are you on the Wi-Fi here? You want me to run my
No, I'm on the
hotspot?
Wi-Fi here.
It's kind of shit. You want me to run the hotspot?
I've been doing okay so far.
Apparently not. Try it.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
Somebody try and call me on Facebook, and it messed the whole
Um,
dang feed up.
I'm not sure. Hold on. I got you now. You're live now.
Figure it
Don't
out.
move a muscle. Yeah, don't move a muscle.
The green thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back. You're back. You're good. Where are my Christmas tree cakes? You see this, Professor?
No store has them. Yeah, that's a you question, Al. You're
They
Mr.
all have them, Mr.
You're
Bushman. You're
Mr.
looking in the
Debbie.
wrong stores. They are 2 for $6. They are at every Walmart. They are 2 for $6 at Giant. They're 2 for $6 at Wise. I don't know what's near you. Radner's. So you're looking in the wrong stores. I don't have access to them. I'm a DSR, so I don't have cake on a truck and say I could just send them to you, brother.
This ain't little Debbie hour, Al.
Sorry, I
Pardon
can't
me, what was
restrain
that?
her some of the time.
46?
I didn't hear what she said.
He said this isn't little Debbie hour, Al. Apparently,
wasn't
you're
me, it
ruining
was
her
Bushman.
enjoyment.
Bushman's like, where's the Christmas tree
You
cake?
platformed him. You platformed him so you could sell.
Mr. Barrett,
Hello.
can you hear us?
I think I got it. I can hear y'all
Good?
now.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah.
He's back.
Good.
Sometimes you just need a little adjustment.
Sorry,
Stop
I had-
moving around, though. Stop moving around, because then you're going to
Yeah, I
lose us
will.
again.
I got you.
All right, man. If people are interested in booking you, how do they get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me on Facebook. They can email me. My Facebook is Barrett Hutto or Lawless James Barrett. My email is barretthutto27@gmail.com. I haven't really got any more socials because I'm not really a social media person, but I'm in the process of getting them started up. And so when that happens, I'll send it to y'all and let y'all share it with
Yeah, we'll
the
put it
fans,
up
the
on
people
the
that are
Around
watching.
the Turnbuckle Facebook
Yep.
page and group. Another thing,
Yeah.
though, I wanted to ask you, when we lost you, I was asking you, what was your favorite Seth Rollins match in your mind?
Oh, favorite Seth Rollins match?
Yeah, because we were talking
That's
about
a
Seth
good one.
Rollins.
I would probably have to say probably him and Cody.
Yeah, that was good.
That whole
From Mania 38, was that?
And the banger.
Yeah,
Mania 38? Yeah.
yeah.
When Cody
when
first
Cody,
came from AEW?
yeah, when Cody competed with the Tor Pec, I think that was Hell in a
Right.
Cell. Right.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
that
Hell
was
in
Hell
a
in a
Cell.
Cell.
That was a couple months later.
Yeah.
That one.
I thought you meant
That one.
WrestleMania. Okay.
Yeah, the whole feud was great in my opinion. I like the whole Cody Rhodes Seth Rollins feud they had going, but as far as a certain match, it'd be that Hell in a Cell match right after Mania 38.
I really liked his
Yeah,
feud with Rey Mysterio. You remember
that
that
was a
one?
good
I
one
mean, it
too.
wasn't that
Yeah, that
long,
was
but
a
it
good
was
one.
a good one.
Where he uh where he hurt his eye. Is
They
that
did the eye
that?
thing with the ping pong
Yeah,
ball. Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I remember that one. That one was good too. It was very good. I mean,
So
really,
he
you can pick any Seth Rollins opponent, and I just put on a Seth Rollins match, and I'll watch a Seth Rollins match. It don't matter who he's wrestling. He could wrestle a mop, and it'd probably
you,
be entertaining.
you think he's getting close to the end more so because I mean, he has been hinting towards that, right? Like, and then Becky's been
I
taking some time off now.
I don't think it's gonna. I think he's gonna step into that more of a part time role. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
I can see that.
While Roman was
that makes
away,
sense.
yeah, during that whole Roman champ bloodline era, where he was tribal chief and he would only wrestle every now and again. I think that's what Seth's gonna do because being the
Or no-
workhorse for 5 or 6 years for a $1 billion wrestling company traveling all over the world, it's gotta take its toll on somebody. And it's Seth Rollins no different than any ordinary human. So wear and tear is a real issue. And
Well, he's in a
you
fatal
know,
four-way match tonight on Raw for number one contender of the world heavyweight title that Gunther has.
yeah,
And it's him, it's Damian Priest, I think it's Sheamus. So it's him, Damian Priest, Sheamus, and one other guy in a fatal four-way for the number one contender for the title. I forget who the fourth guy is. I apologize because I don't remember.
is it Pete Dunne maybe? Because Pete Dunne and Sheamus were feuding for a while there.
Nah, that doesn't sound familiar. Maybe I can look that up.
So I know
But
H is hot.
that's tonight on Raw. And I remember, like, maybe just 4 or 5 years ago, James, that the WWE, like, the reason why we started this podcast is because WWE wasn't doing it for us. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't like it's just something was missing. It just didn't have its, And I know the pandemic hit and things happened, and you had the arena with no people, with all the screens and all that stuff, but I mean, none of the storylines, nothing that was going on was really clicking. I don't think it really started getting hot until Cody came over from AEW and Triple H kind of started to get more involved, and then Vince is gone, and now you can see a difference. You can also see a difference in their attitudes in the locker room too.
yeah, and their like willingness to do things for Triple H because not only is he giving back creative control for where Vince hogged it for so many years, because let's be honest, that's what Vince McMahon did. He hogged all creative control of all workers under his wing, in the WWE. If it wasn't Vince's way, it was the highway.
Mhm.
Triple H is like,
Dominic.
hey,
It's
Triple H is
Dominic,
like,
the fourth guy, Professor.
Dominic
there you
Mysterio.
go, Dominic. Yeah.
So
I forgot Carlito secured that last week for him.
so it's so it's Dominic versus Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest versus Sheamus for number one contender of Gunther's title, and the winner gets a shot at him at Survivor Series.
Okay.
There you go. All right, man. We're running short on time, but is there anything that we have not talked about that you would like to before we go? Or is there any questions you might have for us?
Well, only question I got is if y'all got any bookings, y'all gonna call me? Because I wouldn't mind coming to New Jersey.
We had that power.
I have been trying to put in, word here and there for people. One of the promotions that I work for, SWO, is a little bit of a tight-knit group right now. They're kind of focusing on the core locker room, but I still throw names out there because, especially I think for tag teams, we can always use a few more tag teams. 3WA is pretty wide open. 3WA, we could say something to them, and as long as you're willing to come up and whatnot, 3WA, you can practically just show up and
Okay.
book. They're very liberal with their booking policies.
So those are two promotions in Pennsylvania. In
We're
case you don't
affiliated
know, if
with
you
it,
look
but I
on
know
the
there's
map,
a
one of
few
them
more,
is
obviously.
near York, Pennsylvania, and the other one is in Quakertown, Pennsylvania. And so, if you look, if you Google that up and you look on the internet, that's where those are. Thundercat's been up here. He actually was in an SWO ring. He jumped around a few times, but they did not book him. But they were happy to see him, and they would love to have him back and put him in the ring. That's where we can get them both up here, Professor. We could have that match, that one-on-one match in SWO.
Yeah.
We could try anyway.
Oh.
We might have lost them again. Anyway, Professor,
I'm still here.
next week on Around the Turnbuckle, you know who's here?
I do. Referee Lance Marshall is your favorite.
Yeah, and we are going to teach him how to count. I have a coloring book right here, and we're going to go through, and I have a video clip of the count from Muppets. We might get in trouble there for copyright infringement.
Yeah, you will get us struck.
One counted shoulder, two. Okay, Mr. Barrett, I'm going to give you the last word if you can hear us, because you keep cutting in and out.
I think we've lost audio with him again.
We might have. No audio. He's talking, but nothing's coming out.
Yeah.
We've had technical difficulties all night, fans.
Really
That
have.
doesn't deter the Professor and I will be here back on our normal time, normal channel, normal time, normal day, Sunday, November 10th, Around the Turnbuckle, and referee Lance Marshalls, who's been doing this now for 25 years.
God bless him.
But he doesn't want to tell you how old he is. Mr. Barrett, you got any last words, sir? No.
I appreciate y'all having me, and it's been an honor to be on this podcast, and I look forward to being on it again in the future.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Whenever I get to where I'm going, and much love to y'all, and I appreciate everything y'all doing, putting independent wrestlers on the map. Much love to y'all. Appreciate y'all's love and dedication of the business, and with that being said, stay lawless.
Yeah, right back at you, brother.
And we're gonna keep track of you, man. We're gonna definitely keep an eye on you and see if we wish you nothing but the best, and go get it, man. Just go get it.
Boo boo.
You know what I mean?
Thank you so much, and I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties on my end. People don't want to.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time.
484.
Fans,
All
the
right,
Professor
brother.
and I will be back on Sunday with referee Lance Marshalls at 6 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook. Please like and subscribe and share and all that cool stuff. Get the word out there. For the Professor and Lawless James Barrett, I'm the Big Al. This has been Around the Turnbuckle. We'll see you next time.
You think you know me?
Calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour,